everyone. Today you're welcome to our special edition. And joining us today is a sister, Grazielha Ducania, the Moura King, aka Lilica King. Currently, she works as a nursing assistant and missionary. Prior to moving to the United States, she worked as a lawyer and a legal advisor for the Ministry of Finance. She's fluent in Creole, Portuguese, Spanish, and also understands French. After attending Hartland Summer Missionary School, she joined the team who are currently planting an SDA Chinese Church in Maryland, USA. Well, fun fact about her, she says her brain has difficulty in understanding measurements. Oh, well, many of us do, right? We'll be sharing on Black, Blessed, and Waiting. Hello. Can you
Hello,
hear
hello,
me?
sister. Can you hear me?
I can,
Yes.
I can hear you now. So today on the show, we have a pretty sister, Lilica King. So she's a passionate young lady and with a lot of love for God. And of course, um, there's a funny fun fact about her, and I found that very funny. She said her brain has difficulty understanding measurements. Oh well, I think we all have our difficulties one way or the other understanding measurements. Although not everybody, but some of us do, so it's not peculiar to you. So today we'll be talking about Black, blessed, and waiting. So I believe that God is going to bless us with the things she's going to be sharing. She will be talking to us in her own experience, and of course, from God's blessings in her life, she'll be sharing with us today. So, the first question I have for you is, while we were growing up as kids, some of us, we have these ideas, we have different ideas and fantasies about marriage and relationship. So I'm wondering, what was one of those most funny, unrealistic imagination you had while growing up about marriage? What was that thing you thought about marriage while growing up? Unrealistic, of course, in your imagination.
In my imagination, I believe we share um, this with a lot of other girls is to get married to a prince, a real prince. In my case, I was like, it couldn't be a real prince because of the love that my father gave to me. I felt like a princess, and of course, that God lavishes on us. I'm like, yes, I am a princess. I'm going to get married to a real prince.
Oh, wow. That's the Cinderella kind of story. Right? Okay. I, I I think most of us growing up, we had that fantasies. Almost every little girl had that Prince Charming kind of fantasies. But you grow
Mhm.
up and understand, okay, life is not about Prince Charming, right?
Hmm.
All right.
That's right.
So, um, looking at this, just what you've talked about, I know some of those things they step from the Disney. Of course, sometimes we're exposed to the Disney and we just have this idea about love. How do we differentiate between love and infatuation? Love and infatuation. How do we differentiate between those two?
That is a good question. I, in this waiting time, the Lord allowed me to read a lot of marriage therapy books. And those are books that I did not choose. I believe that God talks to me through books. And whenever I'm facing some situation, I tell him, Lord, lead me to the book that you want me to read. And that started when I went through a heartbroken phase or situation in my life where I was like, okay, you don't inflict pain for any reason. I want to learn the lessons that you have me to learn and move on. I don't want to repeat this class again. Those books, I realized that, yeah, those therapists, where they talk, Christian therapy is excellent. what I talk is a lot of people look for healing when their marriage is broken, not realizing that because we come from dysfunctional families, we should have been known ourselves and get healing to not, carry the baggage into a marriage. And I don't remember if in one of those books or someone I was listening to, yes, value is important, having the same purpose in life, walking principles, but we neglect the part that we needed to deal with our emotional, um, you know, illness before, because a lot of time, even in a church, what breaks a church apart is not doctrinal issues. It's just interpersonal relationships that people have no idea how to have it. They have no skills. And as you said, Sister Julian, it may be about having my own space, and the other person, what do you mean by my own space? So that person don't know how to care relationships, or have issues where uh, in the past, or their parents, one would have too much space and the other one wouldn't respect or didn't know how to deal with that. And therefore they don't know. And those are things that break relationships apart when, well, you guys are married, I'm not, so you know better than me. We don't have to agree to validate the pain of someone. Pain of someone doesn't have to be my pain for me to agree. And it's very important when someone feels that you validate them. That brings the bond together. It makes you stronger. Do you understand? And if you don't have those skills, I mean, uh, church is going to continue to have people are going to continue to hate each other, break apart, and solve that, not because of doctrinal issues, just because of personal skills, interpersonal skills. Just because there's no understanding, no one wants to, humiliate. And in the end of the day, it's our relationship with God will make things will heal us. And Ellen White really say that, and I put it down, but I forgot about, the qualities that someone should have, that you should not be harsh um, and unkind. So by the grace of God, when you truly love someone, you've developed that patience toward that person, that tenderness towards someone, which when you're just infatuated about that person, you you don't try to develop those qualities by the grace of God. And growing up as an Adventist and reading the Minister of Healing, the Adventist Home, we see that Ellen White talks about it in terms that love is not an impulse, and is not blind. But what it is, that is a part that we have also to come together in agreement. I do believe that love is when you feel attracted to someone, you feel desire for that person, affection and towards that person, and you want to be with that person, right? So what happens is that infatuation is temporary. After some time, it goes away. While when you love that person, it stays for a longer period of time, to not say forever, right? And you have your heart feels or has the best interest of that person, right? While in infatuation, you just care about yourself. So I would say that to differentiate those feelings that you feel towards that person, to know if it's love or if it's infatuation, is the duration, and also the wisdom that is applied. When you love someone, you are willing to delay gratification, to wait. You are willing to take decisions that are wise, and live according to your principles. While when you are infatuated, you just don't care about principles. You throw them all out, and you're all about satisfying yourself. And after a while, you see that thing dies.
Wow.
That is what.
Yeah, that's something that delayed gratification, right, is a sign of true love. But when it's infatuation, you just want to have it right here and then. Well, that's something important to note right there. Thanks for bringing that up. So that leads me to the next question, in light of what you've shared, what kind of qualities would you want to see in a future partner?
That's a very good question. Or can I say the question you're asking me, what kind of man I would like to be married to?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Yeah, the qualities you want to see in the man.
I would like, of course, to get married to a Seventh-day Adventist that believes in the spirit of prophecies and applies it in his life. Someone that loves God and is led by him.
Mm.
Someone also that is a priest that will be able to lead our home. Someone that is compassionate, long-suffering, forgiven. Those characteristics that God himself have, I would like to see that in the person I'll get married, as that he will love me as Christ loves the church, and which means that he will be kind and merciful. He will be someone that is faithful, someone that is a provider. And for example, a lot of us, we may be single because we want someone tall, rich, handsome, you know. But as you grow, you learn that you want more than that. You want someone that is compassionate, someone that will keep on pursuing you, and have that love that is selfless towards you, someone that is understanding and supportive and generous. So, but if you're not that much um, healed yourself, you will keep on looking for qualities that are not even qualities in a person. He will also be supportive of my calling, of God's calling in my life.
Yeah.
So I have a list of thousands of
Yeah.
qualities. These are one of them. That especially will be afterwards emotionally healthy, a person that not just to know how to have self-control, but it has a secure connection as well.
Mhm.
So it's waiting. It's worthy the waiting if you can, get healed and learn how to choose better. Because marriage is not easy. Maybe singleness is even more easier, right?
Now, talking about emotionally healthy, you know, some people they feel like heated arguments in a relationship is healthy. They feel, oh, okay, we're having this argument because we love each other. So do you think heated arguments are a sign of a healthy relationship?
I do not think someone may be, thinking different than me. I do not think that, especially if they are constant, is a sign of a health relationship. Communication is important because for the comprehension to exist, we should have a communication. But the communication must happen, or if you're gonna be healthy, it must come for two healthy, emotionally healthy people as well. I'm not saying that if someone is not emotionally healthy, the person cannot become. We are Christians and we believe in the transformation that God operates in our life. We can learn how to have effective communication. We can learn how to have a tough communications. skills that probably we're not able to develop when we're growing up in the family where we came from. We can learn those skills, and by the grace of God, we can learn how to rule ourselves and have a conversation. Because in the end of the day, you want to be understood. In the end of the day, you want that relationship to maintain. But if constantly you are hurting each other, it's not healthy.
Wow. So if you're hurting each other constantly, it is not healthy. So heated arguments are a sign of something unhealthy. That leads me
That
to
needs.
that leads me to the next question. There are men who flex. They kind of trifle with the hearts of a lot of women while in relationship. They go to this woman, go to that woman, and then they come to you. They tell you, "Oh, you're the main person. Don't worry. These ladies, they're just distractions. You don't have to worry about them. I'm just playing around with them. You're the one I want." What do you think about such a person? Because, yeah, they exist. So,
Yeah.
is it okay to go ahead and marry such a person?
I
No.
would marry that, and I would recommend anyone else, everybody else, to not marry that kind of person.
Okay.
It's obviously that that person is not trustworthy, and it's committing a sin
Hmm.
because we are recommended, we are or commanded to not play with the people's feeling. If a person doesn't know what you want, then you will go about doing all that thing. But if you know that you want one person, you will do that. With that being said, though, I may be seeing things in a in my partner that are not there. For example, someone, my partner may be an extroverted person.
Hmm.
And because of my insecurities, because of my past hurt, either betrayal or I had someone that I loved, let's say my father, that was promiscuous.
Yeah.
I developed a kind of sensitivity toward, anything that looks like that.
Hmm.
And a person that is extroverted is a person that is outgoing, reaches out to others. And I'm because of my insecurity, I can be turning off that person. I can be rejecting that person and putting them in the same category of the hurt that I have, the pain, while that person is pure.
Hmm.
Because for the fact of someone being an introverted, it's not a guarantee that that person is pure before God. It's not a guarantee that that person is not promiscuous. Do you
Yeah.
understand? And for the fact of someone being extroverted, it doesn't mean that that person is promiscuous. Do you understand?
Sure.
So you can come to the person and tell them, hey, your attitudes make me feel this. But before that, I have to recognize the insecurity in my life so that I can ask my partner to probably refrain for certain kind of things that makes me insecure and help me heal in that process because we can help each other heal.
Yeah.
But if I say no and I turn off that person, it may be my loss
Hmm.
that I'm turning on someone that just because of my insecurity, not because of that what that person is doing. That doesn't mean that that person is, uh, committing any sin or doing what God doesn't want that person to do. So
Wow.
if I'm
Thank
making myself clear.
thank you for bringing this aspect. It wasn't an aspect I even thought about while asking this question, but yeah, it's very important because some people are very insecure from their past hurts. So when they see people go around, people are jovial, they want to play with everybody, right? They begin to suspect that person to feel, oh, this person is this way. But then that's why the Bible says that we should, right, avoid all appearances of evil. So I think even though we're playful, the way we go
Mhm.
about it also matters. We go about it with a
Definitely.
decency, right? With a
Yes. Yes.
decency that won't make people who look at me feel, okay, what's going on here? You know,
Mhm.
then to even make the woman in my life or the man in my life feel insecure because
Yeah.
I'm going about it in a very should I say evil-like manner, right?
Mm.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that is there. And then the one you talked about is a reality. And sometimes this happens to pastors, right? Pastors have to be around women to right counsel women. So if you're kind of this insecure kind of person, and of course missionaries, not just the pastors, those who reach out to others, you have to be patient, try to understand what is this. So I think it's the spirit in that person that will determine what kind of relationship it is. Why, like you said, I need to work on my insecurity, right? Yeah,
I
thanks for
completely
sharing.
accept. You're welcome.
So I want to ask the next question. Like, some people are like, you're getting old, you're getting older. When are you going to get married? Is age a factor for me to get married because I'm getting old, so I just have to look for someone to get married to. So do you think age is a major factor why I should get married? And then what is the purpose? What should be the drive for marriage for me? Is it age or something else? So I don't know if you want to share something on that.
Oh, definitely. So we women indeed have timing, unlike men. And because we have timing, it makes us really worried about our singleness, the waiting time, because we have time to reproduce. Our body changes, you know, and all of that. So yes, timing, it's a great deal in this waiting process. It should not be what would, drive our decision into whom we should get married and when, but it's definitely a big deal. Especially me that I get constantly asked about, you know, getting married, when I'm going to get married, about my age. When you reach a certain age, not just people ask you, but your own self, this is a thing, a battle that you battle internally. As I was talking, we all girls fantasize about our wedding day. And the years pass by and you don't see that becoming a reality. It hurts. It's painful. Do you understand what I'm saying? If that should be the driving force for you to get married or for me to get married, no, I don't. It's not a driving force. The matter of the fact I'm still single,
Mhm.
although it's painful to be single at this time because I do want a relationship. I do want to begin a family. I do want to have a companion. I'm not just going to go out there and marry anybody. I believe in waiting for God to choose my partner because what matters to me is not just having the wedding celebration or the wedding day. It, what matters to me is the family that we will form later on. For example, I want my kids to look at their father and tell me, Mom, hey, I'm proud of the choice that you made.
Mm.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
I want God to say, hey, daughter, you really trusted what I've said. For example, Proverb 19, verse 14. The houses and riches are inheritance from fathers, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. To For him to say, "Hey, I'm the one who gave you into marriage." So
Oh,
those are the things that drive me, not my age.
that's a higher purpose right there.
Yes, I believe um, we all have been hearing that before Adam and Eve came together,
Mm.
they themselves, each one had their personal time with God. I can say for myself, I felt that calling in my life where God, for a certain period of time, for a certain age, he was like, Lilica, I want you to have a personal relationship with me. I didn't know where that would take me, but I can say now that that personal relationship with God, when it became exclusive and a priority, he allowed me to know God personally. And as I began to know him more and more, I began to contrast himself with me. It was like, whoa, look at who God is and look at me. Then I start desiring to become more like him. One of the things that is important is for you to know yourself before you get into a relationship, because it's not just important to get married to a Seventh-day Adventist that believes in the spirit of prophecy person, but it's important also for me to have the qualities to be in a relationship, because my husband may be having all those good qualities, but I may not have. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
it's only when I know myself that I will develop qualities that will skill me to be in a relationship.
Hmm.
So yep, the personal time with God allows that to happen, and also the healing. We all come from dysfunctional families, even from the time of the beginning of sin in this earth. So it's good to have your baggages dealt with,
Hmm.
your wounds healed, or actually to be in even if it's just being in a recovered process before getting into a relationship. And that time one-on-one with God allows that to happen. Otherwise, the marriage is not, it's gonna suffer.
Wow. Hmm. One word I picked from you is know yourself. Know yourself before getting into, yeah, a marriage. So that's big. That's big. And then you also mentioned something, not to jump into a relationship with a wound, not to jump into a marriage with a wound. I have to sort out that wound with God, right? I have to sort out the wound with God and make sure I'm healed. And of course, I may be, like you said, in the process of healing, but I'm having that walk with God. I think most people in this generation, we have a lot of wounded people in marriages. So what you said is very, very crucial because that's the state of the society right now. So my last question is what's your view of interracial marriage? Do you think it has its pros and cons? Especially for you, for example, I know you are African, now you're in the United States. So it's possible for you're more likely to marry, someone from there. So what do you think?
If you ask me from the beginning if I'm against that, I'm not against that.
Yeah,
It's something that my heart always embraced because of my dream. You remember the first question I told
yeah,
you that I was dreaming of marrying a prince, and I know my country does not have a prince. So my heart always accepted that prince that will come uh, from somewhere. So it would be an interracial marriage.
yeah.
If it has its points, it definitely have. Being married with someone from the same culture is already difficult.
Mm,
Imagine being married to someone that does not share the same background as yours. We have so many things that people do different. And if there is no long suffering and compassion, and there is no understanding, if both of you are not willing to to be patient with each other, it will bring a lot of pain into the marriage. But if you are open-minded, it can work. If you know from the beginning that that relationship is something that God approves, and your affections, the sentiments that you have towards that person, it's real, is unselfish. Therefore, you're gonna make sure you understand that person and you work the things together.
Hmm.
That's
Uh,
my
Thanks for that answer. So, it's not a no answer. It's a matter of allowing God to lead you, right? And also to embrace the fact that it has its pros and cons. It's already difficult, like you said, to marry someone from the same culture. So coming from different culture may be a little more difficult. So it means you have to even put more work, right? You have to be more patient and put in more work for that relationship to work. Yeah, I've seen some people interracial marriages. Some worked and some
Mhm.
didn't work. So it's not the box for everybody, right?
Right. Even normal people from the same race, when they get married, in the end of the day, we all have different background because we come from different families,
True.
right?
Yeah.
And it has to have that willingness from the beginning. If there is no willingness, there is no understanding, desire to, I mean, if that person, being with that person is not your biggest concern, then it's going to be difficult.
Mm. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It seemed a little bit short. I feel like extending it, more, but I believe it's short and we're still blessed by the things you've shared. And I would want you to pray for the audience. We have a lot of single people trying to make decisions who to get married to and how to go through the stages of singleness. So I would like you to pray for them, to just say prayer for all the single people out there, that God would help them to make right decision while considering a life partner.
Right. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, our Daddy, we praise you, the creator of the universe, for loving us so much, for calling us yours, and for giving Jesus to die for us. You that did not deny your only begotten Son is not a partner that you will deny to us. You know that this desire is not something that we should be ashamed of. You created us biologically, physically, emotionally, mentally to desire a companion and to have one. Lord, in the meantime, while we're waiting, I pray that our time with you may be a time of healing, maybe a time, Lord, of joy while we are single, that we may fulfill those things that you have us to fulfill in our state of singleness, Lord, and to rejoice for the days that will come where we're going to have a partner, Lord, and that union will be for the glory of your kingdom, for the blessing of others, and for our good. I pray that you may bless every single person that is listening. Give them patience, perseverance, Lord, to continue waiting on you, because you are not a God that lies. This is my prayer in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you so much for sharing and thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, my sister. My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.